Hey, what it do, baby boo? You are about to watch one of the best jungle guides for Season 8. The strategies that I'm about to teach you have allowed me to get to at least Masters for the past 4 seasons. They've also allowed me to get high win rates, especially in Season 4 when I was going balls deep with the game. In Challenger MMR games, I had things like 58%, 59%, 60%. I had really, really good win rates. Not only have I been able to teach myself these strategies and experience, ridiculous success, but I've also been able to teach these strategies to my coaching clients and to my subscribers, and they've been able to make some dank elo gains as well, which is freaking gangster. So, without further ado, let's crack into the guide.
Step 1 is to pick your jungle champions. There are legit so many champions in League of Legends, it's ridiculous. And you definitely don't want to play them all because you'll probably end up sucking at every single one of them. So then the question becomes, which champions do I play? To help you answer this question, I have created what I call the Jungle Champion Cheat Sheet. This cheat sheet is going to show you exactly what champions you need to play if you want to climb to Diamond as a jungler. But before I show you how to use this cheat sheet, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This secret is literally the single biggest mistake that low elo junglers make that's stopping them from climbing the solo queue ladder.
I'll give you a little clue if you can see what the biggest mistake is.
Have you heard the new hidden sleeper OP champion 9000 7 times 9000 AP champ? Have you heard of him? His name is Shitdown. Nah bro, nah. Have you heard of the hidden sleeper under the rock champion Dragon Lady Shyvana 7000 OP champ Korea? Nah, see, you guys got it all wrong. If you want to know the hidden sleeper under the rock over 9000 AP champ under the rock Korea champion hidden sleeper jungle, it's Teemo. If you haven't guessed what the single biggest mistake is, it's that low elo junglers tend to not main a limited amount of champions. And I always recommend to my subscribers and my coaching clients that the maximum amount of champions you play per role is 3. So check the description below. I'll include a link to the Jungle Champion cheat sheet. What you do is you click on the link and then you'll be taken to this spreadsheet. And in the spreadsheet it includes all of the viable jungle champions in League of Legends. It includes the jungle champion type that they are, the strengths of the champion that you're choosing, the game phase power spike, so which part of the game they do really well at, and also a strategy description. At the bottom of this cheat sheet, I've included recommendations for meta champs in Season 8. If you prefer full tanks or meat shields, I have recommendations for those too, as well as 80 damage dealers, bruisers, AP champs, and also 3 recommendations that if you don't know which champs to play, then you just pick these 3 ones. The essential things that you should be taking away from step 1 is that by now you should have 3 jungle champions that you're trying to main for your League of Legends journey. Step 2 is to find the best items and masteries for your 3 jungle champions.
This is just a really, really quick story that I want to say in regards to itemization. A few years ago, I was in a semi-professional League of Legends teams in OCE, and that team was called Decode Surge and Decode Terror were the 2 teams that we had. I think we were in like the OCE qualifiers or something. I was playing Lee Sin on the jungle, and we got absolutely dicked. Like, it's so funny how badly we just got freaking smashed. They were at our Nexus at 20 minutes, and we were just so butthurt. We were just freaking sad as. At the 15-minute mark, when they were coming towards our inhibs, I bought Mobies. 2 seconds later after I bought them, I was trying to fight this dude, and my coach was like, "Why did you buy Mobies, you idiot?" I was like, "Oh, I thought it was the right thing to do." And he was like, No, you needed to buy Merc Trades this game. And I didn't understand because I had been buying Mobies and the warrior jungle item or whatever for like my whole time playing Lee Sin. I thought that was the right thing to do. So what's the moral of the story? What am I getting at? The point of the story is don't ever listen to your coach. Nah, jokes. On a serious note, the point that I'm trying to make is that itemization doesn't matter as much as you might think it is. Obviously item nuances and stuff like that are really, really important, but if you want to get just to high elo, just to like diamond elo, you definitely can get to diamond elo following 1 or 2 standard, stock item paths. That's the point that I wanted to make before we jumped into the next slide.
If you want to learn how to find the exact same item paths and masteries that Korean challenger jungles use in under 10 seconds, I'll show you at the end of this video. The essentials that you need to take away from step 2 is to make sure that you use the toolkit that I've included at the end of this video to find the best item path and masteries possible for your jungler. Step 3 is to master the early game jungle fundamentals. There are only 3 early game jungle fundamentals that you need to focus on for now. The first is ganking, the second is jungle clearing, and the third is jungle routes.
I'm about to show you a little known trick that only high elo junglers use to make sure that their ganks are as successful as possible. And this trick is called a gank analysis checklist. If you use this checklist, you'll find that you're only going for ganks that are going to result in either a kill or blown summoner spells and nothing else. The checklist consists of 3 major questions. The first one is, do we have enough damage to kill the enemy? The second is the enemy overextended? And the third is, do we have any CC to work with? Now we can take each of these questions and break them down even further. For example, the first question can be broken down into, do I have red buff? Am I a damage based jungler? Is the enemy too tanky? Or is the enemy already under low health? If you want the complete list of questions that high elo junglers use to make sure that their ganks are successful, then make sure you watch to the end of this video. Now we're ready to move on to jungle farming. There are only 2 types of farmers in League of Legends. There are single target damage dealers, and then there are AoE damage dealers. If you're playing a single target damage dealer like Lee Sin, it's generally best to kill the little monsters first before you kill the big monster. And if you're playing an AoE damage dealer like Shyvana or Amumu or something, you can actually just hit the little creeps once or twice to bring them to low health, and then you can finish them off with your AoE spells. Now you don't want to make the mistake of farming like an AoE damage dealer as Lee Sin and vice versa. So to find out which farming category your jungle champion is in, then just make sure you stay to the end of this video, and I'm going to show you how to do that in under 10 seconds. But other than that, here are 15 actionable tips that you can use to help you clear the jungle faster and end with more health. The first tip is to use potions whenever possible, especially if you get to around the half health mark. You do this because if the enemy jungle invades you and you're around half health, he can easily kill you. And also you want to be at really high health in preparation if you go for a gank or you have a fight or something. You want to be in the best state possible. The second tip is to not switch monsters. Now this doesn't apply to AoE damage dealers like I said previously, but if you're playing the single target damage dealers, you definitely want to kill one monster first before you move on to the next one. The third tip is to ask for a big leash. Now if you're not very good at clearing the jungle right at this moment, that's completely fine. Just make sure that the next time you get your level 1 leash from your laners, that you ask them for a bigger leash than normal. The fourth tip is to not use smite on your first camp. The reason why you do this is because generally it's better to smite camps when you've actually lost some health, and sometimes on the first camp you can actually smite and you're not fully utilizing the capacity of the smite heal, and it's better if you lose a bit of health first and then you use the smite. So don't use smite on the first camp. The next tip is to use skill cancel animation. If you're playing a champion like Kha'Zix who can cancel the animation of an auto attack with their skill, then do so. For example, with Kha'Zix you go auto and then Q, and then if you do it properly, the skill animation is going to cancel your auto attack animation and you're going to save a ton more time doing so. The next tip is to kite the jungle camp. I honestly, I'm not going to lie, I have no idea why this one works. I just know that heaps of professional junglers do it, and they end up having more health at the end of their clear. So just make sure that every camp that you're clearing, that you kite it as much as possible. The next tip is to not use your red or blue smite if you plan on fighting soon. When you go for a fight, you want to be in the best state possible. That means you have your cooldowns up, that means you have summoner spells, that means you have the most health and mana possible, and that also means that if you have red or blue smite, that you hold on to it, because that's going to help you a crap ton when you get into that fight. The next tip is to make use of the honey fruit that's on the map. This is just a really easy way to get some quick health and mana back if you're a bit low, so make sure you use that as well. The next tip is to kill the scuttler that's roaming around in the river. You get like a little bit of health after this, and it's especially useful if you're going for a level 3 gank or something and you're on half health and you need a bit more, so just kill the scuttler and then go for the gank so you get some more health. Tip number 10 is to buy Hunter's Potion. Now this is more applicable to some champions than others, and it's specifically applicable to champions like Olaf and Hecarim, who use quite a bit of mana when they're doing their jungle clears. The next tip is to be careful when you're doing Raptors. Raptors is the biggest asshole on League of Legends. It kills so many junglers just because they're so strong, okay? So if you are going to do Raptors, just make sure that you have enough damage and health to kill them. The next tip is to watch your mana levels when you're farming. Like I said previously, you want to be in the best state possible when you go for a fight, and that means actually having enough mana to use your skills. So make sure that you don't go under half mana or maybe a quarter mana if you're planning on fighting. If you're not planning on fighting, you can use your mana and then go back to base. The next tip is to drag the camps that you almost killed to where you're going, and this is just going to save a few seconds of time, but it all adds up. Like once you do 3, 4 or 5 camps, you might find yourself saving 20 or so seconds, which is really good. The second to last tip that I'm going to give you is to make sure that you farm in the brushes next to your jungle camps if you're versing cheese champions like Lee Sin or Kha'Zix, because they can come invade you and get a sneaky kill off really easily, and then they can snowball off of that. And the last tip that I'm going to give you is that make sure that you're staying busy and occupied during auto attacks. Okay, every time you auto attack, either make sure you're going to cancel it with a skill animation, or make sure that you are kiting the jungle camp, or make sure that you're running towards the place that you want to end up. Okay, just make sure that you're always busy between auto attacks. Now it's time to move on to jungle routes. Now there are only 3 jungle routes that you need to know. The first is a level 3 gank, the second is a farming route, and the third is a level 2 invade. For the level 3 gank route, all you have to do is start at 1 buff, you work your way to wolves, you take the next buff, and then you look for a gank on a particular side of the map. If you're on blue side, then a really good level 3 gank route is to go red, into wolves, into blue, and then you can either look for a gank either top or mid. And then if you're starting red side, you can just start blue, into wolves, into red, and then you can either look for a gank top or mid if there's one available. Now if you want to do a farming route and you're on the blue side, a really good route to follow is you go from red to blue buff, to gromp, into wolves, into raptors, and then you finish off Krugs before going back to base. Now just be aware of your health, because obviously this is a very extensive route and you can lose a lot of health, so make sure you use your smite effectively and you use all of your pots as well. If you're on the red side, it's a bit different. You go from blue into gromp, into wolves, and then you go to red buff, into raptors, and into Krugs before going back to base. And the last route that I'm going to teach you is the level 2 invade route. And this is actually the trick that took me from silver to diamond in 3 weeks. I legit did this every single game with Kha'Zix. If you're starting on the blue side of the map, all you have to do is you go from your red buff, you take it, and you go to their red buff, and then you kill them at their red buff. And then if you're on the red side of the map and you still want to do a level 2 invade, you can go from your red buff to their blue buff, because you're bound to meet them there as well, as long as they started on the bottom side of the map. But the key with jungle routes is that you have to understand that each different jungle champion has a better suited route. For example, you don't want to be doing level 2 invades with the Mumu because he's better suited for a farming route, or you don't want to be doing a farming route with Lee Sin because he's better for level 2 invades or level 3 ganks. So the question becomes, which jungle route do I use for my specific champion? If you've stayed for this long, the first thing that I want to do is say thank you, and the second thing is that I want to give you what I call the Diamond Jungler Implementation Toolkit. Here's a list of things that you're going to receive from this toolkit. The first is I'm going to show you how to find the exact same item path that Korean Challenger junglers use in under 10 seconds. I'm going to give you the gank analysis checklist, which is the checklist that every high elo jungler uses to guarantee his ganks end in either a kill or blown summoner spells. I'm going to show you exactly how to find the type of jungle clearing champion your specific jungle champion are in under 10 seconds. I'm going to show you how to find the best jungle route or path for your specific champion in under 10 seconds. I'm going to show you the best way to play your specific champion to increase your win rate and solo carry games. And lastly, I'm going to be giving you the Diamond Jungler Implementation Checklist. This checklist is going to help you implement every single piece of information that I've just given to you in this video in hopes that you can be a better LoL player, you can become a Diamond Jungler, and you can climb the solo queue ladder. If you want access to all of this information, just check the description box below, scroll to the very bottom and click the link next to Diamond's Implementation Toolkit. Once you've accessed the toolkit, you won't be able to edit it or anything because it's a view only link. So what you have to do is you have to go to File, and then as long as you're signed into your Google account, you click on Make a Copy, and then you make a copy for yourself and you can finally access it properly. Otherwise, you can just click on File and then download as a XLS file, and you can open it in Microsoft Excel. Now, once you have your own copy of the toolkit, this is the cool stuff that you can do with it. For example, let's say that we main Jarvan, Kindred, and Fiddlesticks, and it's going to show you the best farming type that they are. For example, Jarvan's a single damage dealer. It's going to show you the best pathing, the jungle pathing or routes for your specific champion. It's going to show you their biggest strengths as well, and then it's going to show you it for all three. We'll get into the items a little bit soon, but first we'll go into farming routes. It's just got a brief description. For example, if you're on the blue side and you want to do a level 3 gank, you go red, wolves, blue, then gank, and then so on and so forth with all this stuff. It's got the farming route, the level 2 invades for both sides. It's got the full version of the gank analysis cheat sheet. For example, do we have enough damage to kill the enemy? Expands into, do I have red buff? Am I a damage-based jungler? Is the enemy already low? And so on and so forth. Is the enemy overextended? Have they warded? Do we have a gap closer to help? And do they have? Does the enemy have any disengages or escape skills? And blah blah blah. The rest for the CC to work with. And then at the bottom, it's got the checklist. So have you, chosen your 3 junglers you decided to main? You just click on it and then you press X. Do you remember the 3 questions to ask yourself? Well, they're right up here. So if you don't, you're stupid. You press X. Have you watched the 15 jungle clearing tips? Press X. Do you know the best route for your specific jungler? You press X. And then have you bookmarked this video to refer back to? So you can just go to the video and then paste it to your bookmark bar or something. So now, just to finish things off, in regards to itemization, all you have to do is click on this link, and it will take you to a the op.gg of the best Jarvans on the solo queue ladder in the Korean server. For example, Jarvan, most of them take flash. The skill order is Q, E, W, and then it's got specific, your E level 1, Q level 2, blah blah blah. You scroll down and then it's got the win rates of the item builds, and then the items themselves. For example, 61% win rate, has the skirmishes blade or whatever it's called, and then the dust blade, and then the black cleaver. And then you scroll down and it's got the runes that you can use as well. So 51% take this. Oh, they have a 51% win rate, sorry. And then, only 1.4% of people take this, but they have a 51.91% win rate. So you just juggle around, and it's honestly not that big of a deal. Just pick one. In regards to itemization, you can just follow this, and then you can finish it off with these extra ones. For example, if you want to follow this, and then you finish it off with Ghost Blade or, Guardian Angel or something like that, or finish it off with an MR item, that's up to you.
So we've come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, I ask that you hit the like button. If you do hit the like button, it shows me that you like my content, and then that means that I'll just continue making jungle guides for you. So hit the like button if that's what you want. The second thing is this. You have your 3 champions, right? Well, pick your favorite champion and write it in the comments below. If you write your favorite champion in the comments below, I'm going to give you a strategy on how to play your specific champion in every single phase of the game. I'll give you pretty much a customized strategy on how to play your champion. So comment below if that's something that you want. And then this is the last thing that I'm going to say. Jungling is a huge, it's such a big freaking topic to talk about. There's so many aspects to learn, and obviously I didn't cover it all in this one video. If this video gets enough likes and enough, promotion and stuff, I plan to do another jungle guide, maybe 2 or 3 parts in the future. When I do bring the rest of that content out, YouTube doesn't actually promote every single video that gets published, obviously, because there's too many getting promoted. So there are 2 things that you can do to ensure that you receive this jungle guide as soon as possible. If you do these 2 things, then you're going to be getting first access to the jungle guide, and then the other people who didn't subscribe and didn't do the stuff that I said, they're not going to get access to the jungle guide, and they're going to lose some dank elo gains. First thing that you do is obviously subscribe, and make sure that you turn notifications on. So you hit the bell icon and then you press the turn notifications on button or whatever. And the second thing that you can do, go to the description below and click on the link next to the LOL Educational Academy. This will bring you to a Facebook group. That Facebook group has a ton of Masters and Challengers and Diamonds League of Legends players that are here to help you. So if you have any questions at all, make sure that you go to the description and you join the Facebook group. And if you do that, you'll also learn about the next jungle guides that I'm going to upload to YouTube, and you're going to be one of the first ones to access it. I'm going to be talking about topics such as how to beat a strong early game jungler, how to not throw when you've got the lead, how to recover from a bad start, what do I do when the enemy team just keeps taking my jungle camps and shiz, how to balance ganking plus farming, what do I do when my laners are pushed in, what do I do when my enemy jungle ganks my laners, how do I stop my laners from feeding, how to counter jungle properly, the best spots for warding as a jungler, just other jungle stuff like that. So anyways, if you have any questions, just comment below. Have a good day. I love you. Stay beautiful. Shut up, docs.